Hi. I woke up this morning thinking about how our kind of emotions can be a bit of a guide to what's going on inside us. If something makes us upset or irritates us or whatever, then it can be a cue to kind of think, oh, okay, what's going on for us? And something that came up for me was this really lovely sort of Zen Buddhism story about the monk and the empty boat. And it took me a while actually to kind of get it. And now I've got it. I love it. It's such a great story. And the story basically is that the monk goes off to a very quiet place, by an island where there's nobody else around to meditate. And he starts his meditation, and everything is peaceful around him. And after a while, he notices that his boat is being knocked. And he's doing his meditation, and he's getting more and more irritated and thinking, who is this person that is disturbing me in my meditation? Who would be doing this? And he's getting more and more frustrated about it, and he keeps trying to meditate, and he keeps trying to focus on his meditation, and this boat keeps knocking into him, and he thinks it's going to go away, and it just keeps banging into him, and he keeps getting more and more, how could someone be so inconsiderate, this person, why are they doing this? And eventually he just gets so frustrated and he can't meditate anymore, and he opens his eyes and he sees that actually there's nobody in the boat. The boat has kind of just, drifted to him, and there's nothing really to be angry about. And he kind of realizes that the anger and the frustration is, within him. And I think for me, I've kind of thought about this quite a lot because I'm quite a high energy sort of person, which can mean I'm very excitable and, happy and positive a lot of times. But, I can also get quite sort of, frustrated by things as well when I, can't get things to go the way I want them to. And it's been a real inner journey for me and a real lesson to go, okay, what's actually going on inside me when, something happens. And, the kind of moral of the story is, your anger is, or frustration or whatever it is and think of it as an empty boat. It's just something that's come along to make you aware of something, to kind of, test something out. And there was no one in the boat. There was no one doing anything deliberate to upset the monk. And he was doing his meditation, and he thought everything was perfect all around him. But actually what he learnt was not everything was as perfect as he thought inside him. It's not to blame or to judge. We're all human. Even people who've been practicing Buddhism and meditation and all that for years and years and years still get the same human reactions. I guess they just get quicker at going, oh, okay, something's coming up, and learn to process it more quickly and not to get triggered by it. But, we do all get triggered. And I think that I just smile when I think of that story. And I don't know, it slipped into the back of my mind for a few weeks, and I really wanted it to bring it back up to my own level of consciousness and also sort of share my interpretation, of it, because I think it's just really lovely for all of us to remember something like that. It really makes me smile. It really makes me feel warm inside, to think of that, and it just shows how much we're all affected by different emotions, and negative emotions are difficult emotions, whether it's anger, frustration, or, jealousy, or self-doubt, or, sadness, loneliness. Those things, exist in us in different ways and come up at different times when circumstances and situations in life kind of trigger them. And they really are an opportunity and an opening for us to look inside. And then, if you're brave enough to go inside and you can sit with them for long enough and be curious enough with them, they can often release things that we've been struggling with. And, you know, wherever there's blocks in our lives, whether it's work or relationships or, you know, family struggles or whatever, you know, how can we kind of look at ourselves first, or look at our part in how to unblock them, you know. There's always two sides to every story, all that kind of stuff, you know. In a relationship, it's always both. At work, you know, there's usually a bit on both sides, you know. Sometimes we have to put our stuff aside and just get on the bus, and that's same for work and same for relationships, you know. There's always a bit of give and take there. But if we're feeling a really strong resistance to something, you know, if we can look inside, if we can kind of be with whatever it is for a while, and it might be there's real tension in our chest, or a knot in our bellies, or our solar plexus feels like someone's got hold of it and is really squeezing it, or it could be tension in our jaw. It could be all sorts of things, you know. Really learning to get into these things and really kind of being with them, being curious with them, and being really gentle with ourselves as we do it, because some of it is difficult stuff that it's got stuck because it was difficult at the time and we didn't know how to process. We could have been very young, or it just could have been too painful, too big for us to deal with at the time. It could be something that's going on for us now, you know, that's just really, we're finding really painful. So be gentle, but it's kind of worth investigating and being curious and looking at these things, and because they're often a cue or an opening or an opportunity for us to find something out about ourselves, and we can discover that there's places in us that we've been avoiding because of pain, and there's often other gems hidden with us with some of this pain, you know, with some of the difficult things we can find. I'm going to do another video about, you know, looking inwards and finding emotions, and, you know, being able to hold two different sort of emotions, or probably more at once. But I really wanted to share this story about the boat, because it was kind of on my mind today, and it popped into my head, and I was like, oh, I love that story, and I wanted to bring it into my own consciousness, and by doing that, you know, share it to a wider audience as well, and remind you and give you sort of my interpretation of it. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.